Good morning, Norcal Karters. It is Tuesday, March 23rd, and I missed last night's podcast, so I'm doing it today. There was just, took Monday. I was out at Sonoma for a few days working, so I took Monday to run some errands, and my daughter and I headed down to Santa Cruz. So by the time I got back, it was too late. So I'm doing the podcast right now. But most of you download it anyway. So usually the weekly shows, I have very little live listens, and 99% of my listeners are downloading the podcast between Tuesday and Thursday anyway. So here we are, live. If you happen to be listening live, you can click on my link, norcalkarters.com. And you can click on the chat, and you can send me a message or a chat. And if I receive it during the podcast and is relevant, I can read it. Keep in mind that the chat, those are live. They're posted. And so that's really about it. I'm just taking a moment to kind of collect myself, and there's a lot going on. So I actually made a bunch of updates to the website this morning. I changed the calendar structure a little bit, so hopefully most of you, it'll show better on either your computer or on a mobile device. And I added more clubs. So we have Shasta Kart Club added. We have the Bakersfield Kart Club added. We have the Central California Kart Racing Association added. So those are now live. And so right now, the clubs we have live on Norcal Karters include Bakersfield Kart Club, Blue Max Kart Club, Central California Kart Racing Association, which we shorten to CCKRA. Challenge of the Americas, one of our sponsors for Norcal Karters. They're live. California Rock Championship is also a sponsor of Norcal Karters. They're live. The GFC Karting. He was our first shop to want to publish a racing calendar on the Norcal Karters site. So he's one of our sponsors and supporters. Other shops, the opportunity is open to you as well if you'd like to. We have KPX. They're live. We're waiting on a schedule from Kinsmen Kart Club in the Gold Rush series. Limited 125 Shifters of NorCal. That's my buddy Henry. Henry Damus is heading up that group. And basically, he's just trying to copy/emulate what Sean has done with the NorCal 80 shifter group, which I also have on norcalkarters.com. So, again, two local groups that are just trying to promote and grow their segment that they're interested in. If you have a segment that you're working on, I don't care. 4-stroke, 2-cycle, and you're in Northern California is relevant, and you're just trying to bring more people into karting, let me know, and I will get your schedule or your events on our NorCal Karter schedule. So I know Tim Williams out at Blue Max is really pushing hard for the 4-cycle /4-cycle/clone. Yeah, that's what it was. Clone. I got mixed words because I was, 4-cycle, 4-stroke. But the clone, he's pushing the clone class out there, and I know he's looking for carts and engine packages to put people in seats and get them out at the track at Blue Max. So again, if you're doing something out there to grow karting, let me know so I can put on the calendar or even have you come on the podcast. So let me rewind here. So again, Kinsmen, we're waiting on schedule. We have Henry Damus and his limited 125 Shifters of NorCal on the calendar. We're waiting on a schedule from Little Stockton 99. NCK Road Racing, they are also a Norcal Karter sponsor. We have their site live. Last week, we actually had Larry Stevens on, a longtime NCK road racer, and we were talking about the Speed Vegas event coming up in April. So if you go back to my last episode, Larry Stevens was on that one, and he gave us a lot of good information. He runs a tag the tag class out there. So he gave out the gearing that he would recommend for the X30, the Rotax, and the Rok GP. So that was good. That was a fun interview. I enjoyed that. Did I mention NorCal 80cc Shifter? They're live. Northern Nevada Kart Club. They are also a sponsor. And Northern Nevada Kart Club, their calendar is live. Thank you for your support for the second year. Prairie City Karting, they are a new sponsor this year. Their calendar is live. Let's see here. We have Rock Sonoma. We have their calendar live. And Rock Sonoma is also a sponsor. And I was actually out there last weekend working underneath the GFC tent with Preston Lambert. So I'll have my thoughts and point of view from that event. It was a really good event. I really enjoy Sonoma at the beginning part of the year when the grass is green. You're sitting on top of a hill overlooking the bay. It doesn't get much better than that. My allergies haven't flared up yet, so I'm not miserable, so that's nice. But yeah, round one of the Rock Sonoma event kicked off this past weekend, and there was a lot of great racing action throughout the day. And I even did a live video of the shifter class, so that is posted on my Facebook page, Norcal Karters. So a live video of the shifter main event on Sunday from Rock Sonoma. Let's see. We also have the Shasta Kart Club. Their calendar is live. We have, and then holidays, just random U.S. holidays are also on the calendar, just to give you kind of a reference. So for those of you that go to the calendar, if you're new to NorCal Karters, check out the calendar. If you wonder why some clubs or series have a lot of information, links to their website or registration page, and other clubs or promoters or series do not, it's very cut and dry. The ones with the links and extra promotion, they support NorCal Karters. They send me a check. It's really that simple. So the ones that don't, I still take the time to put the schedules up because I think racers want to know where they can race. But it's just very time intensive to sit there and update all the calendars, get them loaded live, etc. And I'm doing it myself, and I have other projects going on and a full-time business I'm running. So the ones that have the extra content, the links to their web pages or registration pages, extra mentions either on the podcast or my Facebook page, just keep in mind they're sponsors. So if you're missing out or you feel like you're missing out, reach out to me. And we have a number of different advertising or sponsorship packages available. And they're all very affordable and I think great value. So with that being said, let's get to the calendar. So again, norcalkarters.com. Click on the calendar link. And I'm doing that right now because I updated it this morning. So I want to make sure everything's working. And I already caught myself missing a couple of events. So I went back about a half hour ago and updated them. But this past weekend, we had CCKRA. They were kicking off round one at Buttonwillow. GFC Karting. Gary was at Sonoma with his race team. And then actually, that's another thing I have coming up. Maybe I'll get to it later tonight. But I need to see how it turned out. I basically had my daughter take photos every minute or two of Gary Carlton and Formula Works setting up their tent for the Rock Sonoma event, and hopefully the slideshow turns out, but we'll see. So yeah, that'll be coming up maybe tomorrow. Let's see, today's Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday. I'll try to get that up and live before I go back to Sonoma on Thursday. So yeah, look for that on, I don't know, YouTube, Facebook. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I'm not a media guy, so I'm just kind of winging it and learning as I go. But that'll be going up, and hopefully it turns out pretty well. But yeah, GFC Karting was at Sonoma. Sonoma, I just mentioned them. So they are sponsored by Sanzaru Games, and they're a sponsor of Norcal Karters as well. They had their first race this weekend, and at the end of this podcast, I'll go into my commentary on the event. So there's a lot of racing action. And Blue Max Kart Club, they had their first race of the year this past weekend. So that was all this past weekend. We had St. Patrick's Day to kick off that week. And yeah, that was it. Coming up this week, we have Challenge of the Americas round number 3. Guess where? Sonoma. So there were a number of teams that were participating in the first round of the Sonoma event, practicing for the Challenge of Americas event. So that should be good. It's the final round for the Challenge of the Americas Championship. So the champions will be crowned this weekend. And guess what kart shop or race team is going to be there? That's right, GFC Karting. He will be their supporting customers. Also this weekend, Bakersfield Kart Club. They have a club race this weekend. And then the Norcal 80cc Shifter Group. They have a fun day. So the Norcal 80cc Shifter Group, they have a fun day at Shasta Kart Club. And it looks like this weekend there is also a club race for Shasta Kart Club. So that is March 28th. I wish I had more info on the Challenge of the Americas as far as pre-entries and everything else. So far, it's been a great year for Andy and his crew. But I was I was kind of just behind and late to the text to Andy to find out what the pre-entries were looking like. But based on the teams that were already at Sonoma last weekend testing, it should be a good finale for Andy's group. And so that's March. That wraps up our March, believe it or not. And then we have next Monday our podcast. Again, I try to do them Monday nights around 8 o'clock. I don't always get to them, but I do try to do Monday 8 o'clock for the podcast. And then we have April is next week. April is right around the corner. And bear with me for a second. I'm actually seeing we don't have an April event. Can't believe it. I mean, just looking back in March, there's already been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's already been 14 events in March. So every weekend had something going on, or there was a special group. Again, like the Norcal 80cc guys were out. The limited 125s were out. So March was just busy. And I'm surprised we don't have anything going on April 3rd or 4th. Let's see here. Yeah, April 3rd or 4th, nothing going on. So, April 10th and the 11th, we have NCK Road Racing. Thank you guys for your continued support of Norcal Karters. Their website, nckroadracing.com. Their event is actually taking place in Speed Vegas. And as I had mentioned, we had a podcast with Larry Stevens, and he was discussing his input of Speed Vegas. He thought it was a great layout. Again, he races in the tag class. He also thought it would be a very good track for us sprint guys to get acclimated to road racing, because the track is 1.5 miles, so it's a little bit smaller for a road race, but it's still designed for cars. And for those of you that don't know, Speed Vegas is the place in Las Vegas where you can rent a supercar and take it on the track. Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. I'm not really trying to make this a sales pitch for Speed Vegas. I can if they want to write me a check. but it's really a sales pitch for NCK Road Racing. And but the track was purpose-built for really pushing the limits of supercars without driving around back roads and things like that. And Larry said the track was really smooth. The elevation change was noticeable, which added another feeling to it. They're going to race under the lights, which for many of you that have never raced under the lights, a couple podcasts ago I talked about it. It's incredible. Racing under the lights is it's a completely different experience. I've done it only a few times in my career, and one time was in Vegas. I didn't know the track that well, so it was like already an interesting perspective. But then I've also done a couple night races at Kinsmen Kart Club. That's a track I know extremely well, and it was just amazing how the lights and the shadows, it just makes the track feel different, even though the pavement doesn't actually change. So if you've never done under the lights and you're a karting enthusiast, you need to try it. You need to try it out. So again, April 10th and the 11th, NCK Road Racing will be at Speed Vegas. The registration is open now. Speaking of registration for NCK, they have recently switched over to motorsportsreg.com. So they are no longer on their old platform, but they are on motorsportsreg.com. So for many of us, that's a very welcome change. There's no D. It's not past tense. It's change. So you can check out all of the information for Speed Vegas on nckroadracing.com. You can pre-register now. Let's see here. We also have Shasta Kart Club that weekend, April 10th and the 11th. And KPX kicks off April 10th and the 11th. And then for all of you, you just can't wait for April 15th. I don't even have to tell you what day that is. Well, I guess that's if you have a job and you pay taxes. That date sounds familiar. If you don't have a job or don't pay your taxes, then you don't care. So, April 17th and 18th, CCKRA Round 2, Buttonwillow. Central California Kart Racing Association, Round 2, Buttonwillow. And that same weekend, GFC Karting will be at Sonoma for their Sonoma Round 2 event. And that's March 17th and 18th. And that's going to be a very busy weekend for karting in general. So I haven't plugged Sonoma yet. Their website, sanzarukarting.com. SANZARU karting with a K.com. sanzarukarting.com. And if you're wondering why does Sonoma or Sonoma Rok Cup or whatever you want to call it, why does Sonoma have a website that is Sanzaru Karting? It makes absolutely no sense. But if you realize that Sanzaru is a gaming company, they design video games, they are the headline sponsor for Sonoma, then you go, oh, okay. There you go. So Sonoma, presented by Sanzaru. That's why it's sanzarukarting.com. So, and a quick Google search with Sonoma pops you up right to their webpage anyway. I've done it multiple times for calendars, results, etc. Or to make it even easier, norcalkarters.com, click on the calendar, and I'm looking right at it. So if you click on the calendar, click on Sonoma Rok Cup race number 2, boom, click on it, you get a little pop-up. And the website address is right there. It takes you right to their official page. So there you have it. That is April 17th and 18th. So Central California Kart Racing Association. GFC Karting will be supporting its customers at the Sonoma event. And we have Prairie City, the 4-stroke weekend, race number 3. So Prairie City 4-stroke race weekend number 3. And Prairie City is also a sponsor of Norcal Karters. We appreciate their new support for 2021. And their web address, pckarting.com, P as in Prairie, C as in City, karting.com, pckarting.com. And again, race 3 for their 4-stroke weekend. Now, the only change that may happen, and you kind of have to keep an eye on the Prairie City Facebook page, they may move the 80 shifters off of the 4-stroke weekend to the 2-stroke weekend. So Donald was talking about it a couple weeks ago. So if you are an 80cc shifter, say that 4 times fast, racer, then he may be moving your class to the 2-stroke weekend. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here. And that takes care of April 17th and 18th. Oh, no, it doesn't. You know what? I almost forgot about my buddy Henry. And I almost forgot about Northern Nevada Kart Club, which is a sponsor. So that wouldn't be good either. I apologize for that. You guys have events Sunday, March 18th. So Henry's group of limited 125s, they are actually going to Desert Park Raceway, which is Northern Nevada Kart Club. And that is nnkcreno.com. And they've done a really nice job with their website. It's very easy to navigate. It's very easy to find the race schedule. Again, nnkcreno.com. For a quick link to their webpage, you can go to norcalkarters.com, click on the calendar, click on NNKC race number 1. Now, the reason I almost forgot about them, you have to keep this in mind, and I will work on my calendar. Okay, so on norcalkarters.com, it shows their event. On Google Calendar, it just says 2 more. So I actually have to click on the plus sign to bring up all the events. So Reno, I'm sorry, I almost forgot about you, but I didn't. So Northern Nevada Kart Club, race number 1 on April 18th. And Henry Damus and his 125 guys will be at that club supporting their events. Let's see here. Then we have April 24th. Looks like Bakersfield Kart Club. April 24th. Bakersfield Kart Club. Then let's do May, and we'll end it off on that first weekend of May. We have May 1st and 2nd. May 1st and 2nd, Shasta Kart Club. May 2nd, Blue Max Kart Club. May 2nd, which is a Sunday, Henry Damus and his limited 125s, Northern Nevada Kart Club. And then we have Northern Nevada Kart Club, race number 2, May 2nd. And the NorCal 80cc Shifter Championship. They will be racing at the Blue Max Kart Club. So that puts us out almost 5 weeks. So let's see what we have going on in 5 weeks. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's a total of 16 karting events in Northern California or surrounding areas just in the next 5 weeks. So things are happening again. This is great. And I'm going to wrap up this segment of the podcast with that. That's incredible. So if you're a karter, share this information with other people. If you have friends that are interested in karting, send them the calendar, norcalkarters.com. Plan a day where you grab some deli sandwiches or something and a couple drinks, go out to a local track and just watch some racing action. Now, if you were at Sonoma this past weekend, you witnessed a lot of great racing action. There was some in the shifter class, which usually the shifter class never disappoints. The master shifter class was exciting. I mean, it just guys were all over the place. Kevin Woods put in a kind of a dominating performance, but I have on the video Facebook page, Norcal Karters on Facebook. I did a live video, and they're not produced. It's my phone. It was live. It was windy. I was on top of the stacker trailer, so it's a little bit shaky, but it kind of gives you an idea of the racing going on. The shifter race was exciting to watch. Some of you may wonder why I don't record more of the other classes. 2 reasons. The primary reason is I'm usually at Sonoma as a mechanic working with a driver. And this past weekend I was working with Preston Lambert in the 100cc junior class. And last year I was working with Christian Cameron in the mini and the 100cc class. Well, I decided to do 3 live videos while I was watching Christian, and all 3 videos he DNF'd. And those were our only DNFs all year long. And it happened to be with the video. And, I just told myself, forget it. I'm probably superstitious now. So I stopped recording the events that my drivers are actually in, because I got tired of the DNFs, and it was every time I was recording. So that's why I don't record my drivers. And usually my recordings of my drivers aren't very good anyway, because I'm watching the driver not through my phone, but past the phone, and it's focused on my driver depending on where they're at on the track. So it's usually not very good anyway. But those are the 2 reasons. I'm typically working for somebody at the events, so I'm watching them, but I stopped recording my own drivers last year. I just felt it was bad luck for whatever reason, which is probably a terrible reason, and there's no coincidence, but that was just me. But the racing action, I watched the shifter main event, obviously, because I recorded it. I watched some of the shifter masterclass, and that was a lot of good racing action there. But the 100cc junior class, it was so fun to watch. Let's see. Rewinding here. Yeah, it was. I mean, there were really 4 drivers in the 100cc junior class that were right there in the top 4, either leading or trying to lead. I mentioned 2 of them. Christian Cameron, your eventual main event winner. Preston Lambert, he finished second by 23 hundredths, and it was literally a photo finish. I'm not talking about a photo finish where Preston or Christian was a half a cart behind. I'm talking about the pictures that are on Facebook or Instagram. You don't know who won. It's a true photo finish. Maybe I should have protested. I don't know. But I'm not big into protests, and probably wouldn't have gone over very well. But it was a great race. So those 2, they were really, racing each other all day long. Anthony White was right there. And in fact, Anthony White was about the only one I saw break the draft by himself in, I can't recall if it was the main event or the heat race, but he was about the only one that was able to kind of pull away from the draft by himself for a few laps. And then I never really talked to Joe afterwards. I'm not sure what happened, but at some point something happened, because he just started to lose pace. And then Christian and Preston were able to capitalize on that. And then Alex Rentala was right there in the mix. And it was really fun to watch these young drivers go back and forth, minimal contact. I mean, it is racing, but there was nothing blatant. There was nothing dirty. It was just timing and spacing. I mean, it was just, it was really, really neat to watch them race. And, the photo finish was exciting. Preston was leading the last couple of corners on the last lap. And, it was one of those things where, okay, he's out in the lead. He had a kart or two coming down the straightaway, but many of you that are very familiar with Sonoma, the wind picks up pretty steadily there, and there was a gnarly headwind, and Christian was just patient and kind of timed his maneuver and pulled out, and they had a drag race across the line, and it was a great photo too, because Preston has two hands in the air because he thinks he won. Christian had one hand in the air thinking he won, and it really just came down to the scoring booth and where things ended. So it was just a lot of great racing action this weekend. But yeah, so that was it. So how did I segue into that? One, I was working there. Two, I was talking about grabbing a sandwich with your buddies and some drinks and just supporting a local kart track. Just go out and check it out. Now, some tracks are probably going to be a little bit stricter with COVID restrictions than other tracks, depending on their county or state. So it's probably advised to contact them ahead of time and just say, hey, can I come on out and watch? But go to Norcal Karters, norcalkarters.com, click on the calendar. There's, just in my view right now, for April, there's a race event in Vegas, which isn't Northern California, but a lot of our racers, the road racing segment, will be down there for the Speed Vegas event. Shasta Kart Club, so that gets us Northern California. Central California Kart Racing Association of Buttonwillow. Their title says it all. Central California. So they are right there, right in the center of California. Prairie City, just outside of Sacramento. So Prairie City, that's Northern California. Sonoma, Northern California. Bakersfield, that's more Central California. And again, Shasta Kart Club Blue Max. I mean, Northern California, Northern California. And then we have Northern Nevada Kart Club, which is out in Reno. So on any given weekend, you could probably find a kart track within an hour or two and go watch some racing action. If you're thinking about getting into karting, first thing to do, just go find a local club that's local to you. Again, norcalkarters.com. Look at the calendar. Find a club that is local to you. And just go check it out for a weekend or two. Start asking questions. Be smart about when you're asking questions, though. If you see some guy with an axle wrapped around the back of his cart and he's thrashing, that's probably not the right guy to talk to at that moment about karting, because they're probably just trying to get out for their next session. But yeah, just go check it out. Most people in karting are pretty inviting and are very willing to share some information or some how-tos or whatever. If you're in the Sacramento area, Prairie City Karting, they offer kart rentals. If you've never been in a kart, then I would highly recommend, if an outdoor rental facility is not available to you, try an indoor place. Just know the outdoor is always better than the indoor stuff. But just try it. Before, if you've never been in a kart, at least try indoor. And if you have been in indoor and it's kind of, you want more, then rent an outdoor kart. And again, Prairie City Karting, they offer rentals out there. And there's been days I have karts. I have no excuses not to be on the track, but there's been a couple of days where it's like, you know what? it's just easier to go to Prairie City and rent one of their rental carts, 4-stroke powered rental carts. So there's plenty of options. So with that, I'm going to wrap this podcast up. Everyone, have a great week. And maybe we'll get some video done from Sonoma, Challenge of the Americas at Sonoma this weekend. So if I do, it'll be on Facebook. I don't have enough followers on YouTube yet, so they do not allow me to do live video on my YouTube page because I need more followers. So if you're a YouTube fan, please, please, please look up Norcal Karters. This podcast also loads up to YouTube. But please, 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 if you're a YouTube fan and you want more live videos of karting, go to my YouTube page. It's under Norcal Karters and click the like button or the subscribe button, or actually both, because I needed more viewers in order to do live videos via YouTube. With that being said, have a great day.